Good evening, Belize, and welcome to XTV's news broadcast for Tuesday, June 23, 2026. Making the headlines tonight, FinSec says payment system was not intended for the manner applied to the Miras. PM considers Minister Mira still remains politically viable in Belmopan. Minister Espat considers police ministry to be one of the most difficult to manage. And Edward Broster files corruption complaint against Oscar Mira. We take our first break and return with the news in detail.
Benny's is kicking off Father's Day with popping deals for dad in the month of June. Visit a Benny's near you and get store-wide discounts on selected items such as Milwaukee and Axie power tools, Charbroil barbecue grills, car care products, Karcher pressure washers, and much more. Make dad happy with popping deals for dad in June only at Benny's.
Benny's, oh, Benny's.
As a small business, I started to attend pop-up shops like many other businesses, and we found that our customers wanted to pay by card and not cash. I went to Atlantic Bank, and immediately, without a problem, it's like, yes, you can have a POS system. That POS system we now use in-house, and we can also take it countrywide wherever we are. They were willing to take the time. They were willing to be patient with us as we grew our business, and that, for us, that meant the world.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
The biggest football event in the world is finally here, and Smart is giving you the chance to play and win. Before every match starts, predict who will win. The more predictions you make, the more chances you have to win. Get 1 point towards your total when you guess the winning team. Predict the exact score and earn up to 4 points. The top scorer at the conclusion of the World Cup wins the grand prize of $2,500 in cash. That's not all. Players get a chance to win weekly prizes. Plus, our quarter-final winner gets a watch party package. Play directly in the Smart app for just 50 cents per entry. Prediction starts June 1st to July 18, 2026. Don't just watch the World Cup. Play along and win with Smart. Smart, bringing people together.
At Habet and Brothers Habet, celebrate your super handy dad with gifts he'll actually use and enjoy super savings all June. Like 15% off all power tools and Stanley hand tools, 20% off Vento PVC windows, 20% off Ascot porcelain tiles and 30% off Piso Forte ceramic tiles, and 40% off Sunlight windows and doors. Plus, stop in at Brothers Habet every Saturday for our veranda clearance blowout. And for every $50 you spend, get a chance to win a power tool every Saturday. Visit Habet and Brothers Habet today and give Dad something worthy of his super handiness. Happy Father's Day to all super handy dads.
You're up against some tough challenges. But not all heavy-duty lubricants can handle the pressure. Until now. Introducing Ridgeline Lubricants. A homegrown solution engineered right here to solve the hurdles you face every day. Backed by experts who understand the ups and downs of where you're operating and what's at stake. Specially formulated to protect your equipment so you can push past grueling hours, heavy loads, and harsh conditions to reach for greater productivity. Ridgeline Lubricants. Long live your equipment.
It's not something that I would have gotten on my own. You know, I've been trying for a while and it wasn't happening, and Miss Marissa helped me a lot. Whatever problems came up, she dealt with it for me, so it's very happy right now.
This area was actually a challenge for us based on land documents because Ms. Bowman had a valid title and other people were claiming title also.
I had a man squatting on the land and had problems getting him off. Miss Marissa worked with us and, you know, they worked out something with him and he came off and they started with the house. So
I know that Ms. Bowman is very, very, very happy for this home because she goes from paying quite a bit of rent to paying for something that is actually going to be hers one day.
Right now I'm renting, so I don't have any kind of savings. With this, you know, the rent is okay. I will be able to handle that and I would be able to start having a savings as well. It's hard for people to get this on their own. So for the government to be helping and doing this for us, it's awesome.
We're very, very happy and pleased for Ms. Kenizia today. Again, we thank Minister Julius, the government of Belize, Ms. Marissa, because a lot of work goes into these, you know. Big up and thanks to all the people who are participating, and let this program continue. It is absolutely good.
Welcome back with your news. I am Drea Espinosa. Financial Secretary Joseph Waite has added new weight to the growing concern surrounding the Mira payment scandal, saying the government's payment system was never designed to function in the way it was used to process transactions for the siblings of suspended Police Minister Oscar Mira. The scandal erupted after leaked SmartStream records show scores of fragmented payments, many just under the $10,000 threshold, issued to companies linked to the Mira family. Those revelations triggered public outcry, and the Prime Minister has ordered an audit that should be completed within 3 months. In the meantime, Mira is out of cabinet, with Minister Julius Espat acting in the post. Speaking to reporters today, Waite said the pattern of payments suggests a clear breakdown in internal controls and possibly deliberate efforts to bypass approval safeguards.
Clearly there's a breakdown in the system. It wasn't intended to work this way. It takes, in our system, there are levels of approvals depending on the amount of money. There's a first approval, second approval in any payment that goes through. Depending on the level, if it exceeds a certain ceiling, it goes to a third approval at the Treasury. It appears from what we see that there was a deliberate effort to fragment payments, break them down to below, but I'll wait to see what the audit reveals. But sure enough, certainly it doesn't look good. And in my view, I think what happened is that either somebody dropped a ball, fell asleep, or worse, that they moved together on it. Now, whether that can be put to the feet of Minister Mira, I can't say. I do know that when it comes to food supplies, there are regular deliveries and then there should be regular payments. And I'm told that in some cases they would batch the payments together and process them in one day for their convenience. That is the convenience of the accounting staff, the convenience sometimes the supplier would wait till the end of the month and drop a bunch of payments and then they go through, but I don't think that's the whole explanation. That could be a contributing factor. I don't know. The audit will tell, but certainly the system wasn't designed to produce what we are seeing.
The FinSec summarized the payment process and clarified that a minister or even a junior minister is not involved.
The way it works is you issue a purchase order for a small amount. Invoice comes in from the supplier. Imagine you're buying something small. Or even smaller. Okay, something under $10,000. You issue a purchase order. Comes back with the receipt. Comes back with not the receipt, the invoice. Yeah. Somebody signs that its items have been received in good condition, and then the payment starts. The payment starts. Somebody raises the invoice in the system. Usually a junior clerk. The senior clerk signs that. Senior clerk or the FO then looks at it again, makes sure it's all right, check to see that all the paperwork is in order. The purchase order was there. The invoice is correct. The goods were received in good condition, and then you sign off. Payment goes through. If it's below $10,000, if it's above $10,000, those two steps are still taken. But then a third step is somebody at Treasury monitors it and sends it through again.
When does it get to the CEO or the Minister of State or the substantive minister? Do they have any part to play in that process?
Payments, no. I mean, that is often if it comes to the procurement, if you're sending out a tender to say supply rations or something, then the tender has to be organized in a certain way. Vegetables in one batch, maybe poultry meats and so fresh, dry goods. You send out the bids, you have a committee to look and to see what, And the problem is too that there's a lot of variation in the quality of what you're getting. So you have to be careful. It's not always the lowest price, no? But then a committee looks at it, makes a recommendation. The recommendation comes to the Ministry of Finance. We look at it again. We sign then it goes to the Contractor General before the contract is issued to make sure all the steps were in place. And depending on the type of tendering arrangement, all was in order. So at that stage, the CEO would be involved. Yeah. Very rarely does a minister get involved. It's not his function, or even a junior minister, to look at the tendering process.
Waite was also asked about the processing of payments in batches.
When I say batch, it's possible that, and I've seen it happen, that, okay, today we'll work on paying supplier X, so bring all the invoices and pay them. That goes through, that looks like a batch, but each is individually checked and paid. Similarly, you could have a supplier that says, guess what, I'm supplying things, next time I circle them up and I will pack up my invoices and bring them. That's a possibility too. But it's not, I don't think accounts for the level of what we're seeing here.
I mean, but that would take a great deal of time. I would imagine an FO would take it would take a lot of work and FO stay to sign off on so many invoices.
That's the job. I mean, that is, you have clerks preparing the invoices and then somebody checking them. You look at them here, and you could do, I don't know, you could do one a minute.
Do you believe that these should have been flagged though?
If you see a whole lot of payments going through, it should have raised an alarm. It should have raised an eyebrow. Yeah, I think so. You could make part payments. I'm not saying that this is always the case, but imagine you have a big invoice, so you don't have money in your account to cover it all. You can pay in installment. You could pay in parts. You could say, all right, $100. I'll pay 40 now, balance remaining 60, next 30, and that's possible. I mean, but it still has to meet all the criteria. But you can split a payment into pieces, because imagine you get your money every month. Coming toward the end of the month, you're dry. You're waiting for next month's allocation. You only could pay a little bit.
But that's not what happened in this case, because in this case, those payments were made on that very same day where all those invoices under $10,000.
So what I was saying, that's another way, another possible explanation, but not in this case. This case looks cute to me. It looks as if there was some willful intention there to dodge on them. It looks to me. I'll wait to see what the audit says, but on the surface it doesn't look correct.
There is also the use of a ghost dot, a manipulation in which an additional character is appended to an invoice number to bypass duplicate entry safeguards and trigger a second payment for the same invoice.
It looks questionable. First time I saw that, but in any computer thing they read the fields, and the number of digits, and so if you put another digit, it's a new number, whether it's a comma, dot, or a number itself, But it took a certain amount of creativity.
I would imagine. Yeah. So when you look at something like that, how do you investigate it?
Well, the problem is you wouldn't normally see it if the ministry would see it, huh? But the thing is, what we need to do now is, after all of this is done, we bring everybody together, we go through it's almost like a refresher course as what to do and what not to do, and also to get more oversight, you know. In the old days, you used to have spot checks. The Treasury used to send out to a sub-treasury to take a surprise surveys, and we need to do those again.
Do financial officers fall under you as a financial secretary?
No, that's a good question. They report to the accounting officer, who is the CEO. Accounting officer reports to us when it comes to finance.
In the case of this financial officer in the Ministry of Defense during these payments, what has become of that financial officer?
Well, we'll wait to see what the audit report, to see if there's anything that is highly irregular, where they broke in, and then we take it from there. No? In the meantime, I understand he was on leave. I'm not sure.
The UDP's Belize Rural Central Standard Bearer, Edward Broster, this morning formally filed a complaint at the Integrity Commission against Minister Oscar Mira under the Prevention of Corruption Act. He spoke with our colleagues at Plus TV on what he expects from the statutory anti-corruption oversight body responsible for monitoring the financial disclosures of public officials. The body studies any irregular patterns in declarations, investigates potential breaches of the Code of Conduct for persons in public life, and is empowered to recommend sanctions. The code covers issues such as conflict of interest, use of public office for private gain, acceptance of gifts, disclosure of assets, income, liabilities, standards of integrity and impartiality.
I came here to officially launch a complaint to the Integrity Commission against Oscar Mira, the Minister of Home Affairs. Well, the complaint entails Section 34.1 of the Prevention of Corruption Act, Chapter 105 of the Substantive Laws of Belize, for which I have reasonable grounds to believe that the Honorable Oscar Mira, a person in public life under Section 2 of the Act, is in breach of the provisions of this Act.
What did the Secretariat say when you filed the complaint?
Well, first she said she would sign for it, and then someone else came and told her, you better check with the chairperson and let him take it to the chairperson, and then they made some phone calls, and then they were told to accept it, and I ensured that they signed the receipt, which is this, so to indicate that they have received the 3-page report along with 104 pages of document, 56 of which is for MP farms and 48 is for Jenny Mira. I am hoping that the Integrity Commission do their job, and ensure that a thorough and proper investigation is carried out so that we can get to the bottom of the allegations being made against the Honorable Oscar Mira and his family.
What do you make of the, repercussions that befell Minister Mira yesterday, directed from the PM?
Well, I think that the Prime Minister, in his own words, have been saying that we should not be tolerating corruption and we should put people in prison and so forth. So giving Oscar Mira 3 months vacation or 3 months leave is a far cry from what he has been advocating for.
The Elections and Boundaries Commission has declined to release documents related to the ongoing redistricting exercise, telling social activist and public interest litigant Jeremy Enriquez that it is not clear the Freedom of Information Act applies to the commission. In a letter dated June 22, the EBC acknowledged Enriquez's FOIA request seeking records of the status, methodology, timelines, expenditures, and consultations surrounding the long-delayed redivision of electoral boundaries. But instead of granting or refusing access to specific documents, the Commission raised a series of objections and deferred any disclosure until a court determines whether it is legally bound to respond. The Commission argued that the volume of material requested exceeds what the FOIA contemplates and suggested that releasing the records could undermine its constitutional independence under Section 88. It also pointed to ongoing litigation cases in which Enriquez is a party, as a reason some documents may be exempt. The Commission Chairman Oscar Sabido stated that requested documents may affect pending legal proceedings. At the same time, the Commission acknowledged the public's concern over redistricting and noted that the last redivision report, completed in 2023, was laid before the National Assembly. However, it reminded that the recommendations were not made law due to concerns about unacceptable deviation thresholds. Sabido informed Enriquez that a new exercise is now underway. The government has publicly committed to complete the process by the end of 2026. Notably, Sabido also highlighted that the Commission is not a ministry and is not included in the FOIA's definition of a prescribed authority to which requests may be directed. As such, the Commission's response was described as a mere courtesy. After the break, should government smart stream system be made public? Stay with us.
Look here, your kitchen light, Diana, you been in the kitchen.
But I'm going back in there right now.
And the coffee maker?
Just to try keep me the coffee warm for later.
Where do you know?
I'll try to think about what to eat.
You know the more you open or close the fridge, it takes longer for the food cool. For a hot day like today, it burns more energy. You charge your phone right now?
No.
Plug it out then. You really only wash 2 Lee socks and 1 Lee shirt? You don't know what small load burn the same amount of electricity as large loads?
But this is my favorite shirt.
You have to be more energy efficient. Use large loads. This AC they blow hard. You know, if you keep the temperature at 25 degrees Celsius or higher, you burn less energy and you also keep the place cool. And for a nice day like today, turn off the AC, open up the house and make some fresh breeze come in.
You know what? I think I get it now. As consumers, we need to be more energy efficient and practice energy conservation.
Nando's Wholesale is your market leader in Belize's wholesale industry when it comes to high-quality products at the most reasonable and competitive prices. With over 40 years in the wholesale business, Nando's Wholesale embraces the partnership of the hotel industry in Belize by providing world-renowned brands in wines, seasonings, condiments, and cleaners in industrial sizes, as well as small and large kitchen appliances and equipment. Nando's also takes pride in providing one of the quietest and most durable air conditioning systems in Belize with technical support and spare parts. Nando's Wholesale. Professional, reliable, effective, and prompt. Nando's Wholesale always delivers. Visit us at www.nandos.bz or send an email to nandos@nandos.bz. Or, even better yet, give us a call today at 222-500 or 280-8080 to speak to one of our sales representatives today.
No one should be up at this time. If you're still up, it's not you, it's your mattress. Because the right mattress changes everything. Sherwood Bedding Luxury Resort Pillow Top Mattress. Sleep better, wake better. Available at Design Depot. All in one place.
Money travels fast, so make sure you check it before you spend it. Here are 4 easy ways to know your money is real. Look, feel, tilt, and check. Look closely at your note by holding it to the light to see the watermark and the note value. Notice how the see-through image completes itself perfectly. Feel for authenticity. Run your fingers over the raised portrait and the bars on the edges. 1 bar for the $2 and up to 6 bars for the $100. Tilt the note to see the hidden value appear. Look for the moving images on the security thread and holographic shimmer on higher denominations. Check closely. Use UV light or a magnifying glass to find hidden images and microtext. Remember, handling counterfeit money is illegal. If you spot a fake, report it to the police immediately. Look, feel, tilt, and check. Know your money. Check it before you spend it. A message from the Central Bank of Belize.
Whether you are a busy person or stuck in traffic or having an adverse or very demanding circumstance, tension builds up, causing you to be stressed out. Stress attacks everyone, anytime, any age. And stress is a killer. Palm City? It's best to be alive than dead. So visit Freetown Drugstore to get options to relieve stress and to relax your mind.
Yes, sir. What can I do for you today?
I'm so stressed out.
Okay, I'm saying help you right now. When I this daily, for 10 days, I am good after that, okay?
Okay.
Freetown Drugstore, 28 Freetown Road, where you are better off alive than dead. Freetown Drugstore, telephone 223-2876.
This is the general. They just coming again. Yeah, yeah. They just one. They just yo, yo. Hey. Take it low, 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 take it low. Then you wine right there, take your time right there. You do it fine right there. You blow my mind right there. Take it low, 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 take it low. Hey, Babina Hanuma, Babina Hanuma, Babina.
At the conclusion of today's cabinet meeting, Prime Minister John Briceño spoke of the developments that led to Minister Oscar Mira being removed from cabinet for 3 months while an audit is conducted on payments for tenders to his siblings. The PM was asked about the atmosphere in cabinet and if everyone was on the same page on the issue.
But there was no such argument in cabinet of 8. I mean, we were saddened by what has happened, but you know, our work comes first. We have to look after the interests of the government and the people of Belize. That's what we were elected for.
What expectations do you have of Julius Espat in the Ministry of Home Affairs?
Sorry?
What expectations do you have of Julius Espat in the ministry?
Well, I expect him to continue the work that Minister Mira started. I think Minister Mira was doing a very good job as the minister responsible for Home Affairs.
PM, you or your office are now in the spotlight because the invoices reflect payments from your office to MP farms. Over 130,000 payments, at least $11,000 in payments, over 11 invoices. How do you explain that?
What is there to explain? I think you're grasping at straws. I have no idea. The people at finance or the people in my office, they're the ones that do that. I don't think there was anything illegal that was done there, and we follow the process.
How soon can we expect Recon Dev's board to be changed?
Sorry?
How soon can we expect Recon Dev's board to be changed?
In the next few days, certainly by early next week, I'll be able to expect to put a new board.
What does it mean to you that when the dealings with your ministry, all 10 payments were above $10,000. However, with the Ministry of Defense, we saw over 1,000 payments below $10,000.
1,000 payments?
1,000 transactions.
1,000 transactions. Well, certainly we do our best to follow the process, and in this instance, when we saw these continuous payments under 10,000, obviously it raises questions and it raises an alarm, and that is why I called the Financial Secretary to send the Auditor General to take a look at what's going on.
The PM also said he considers Mira still remains politically viable in Belmopan.
I have every confidence that he has been a good area representative, and he has been a good minister. He has been a competent minister. So I do believe that politically that he will still be able to continue to connect with the people of the Belmopan.
The UDP wanted more strict measures against Mira. They said the 3-month step aside isn't enough.
I don't think the UDP have any moral authority to speak when it comes to those issues, because if you were to remember, the then Prime Minister would defend until he absolutely can't do anything better. In our case, we take actions immediately, and we need to be able to get to the bottom of this.
Will those findings be made public? Can you commit to making those findings public?
Well, obviously the report will have to be able to. I think we'll be able to make it public. So that's as far as I'll be able to commit.
UCB is asking for all ministers to be. UCB is asking for all ministers to be investigated. Will you do that?
But listen, we have we have a lot of work to do in this government. When you look at the tremendous amount of work that we have done, just right now we just approved a trade agreement with El Salvador, something that the UDP government could have never done, giving open opportunities for Belizean farmers, especially our farmers and producers. We have a lot of work. We're taking over the presidency of SICA, while we just agreed with the compact, the MCC compact, $125 million US, things that the UDP could ever think about. And the NTUCB is supposed to be our partners and not be able to just say, oh, got you. Let's work together, man. At the end of the day, we have to move this country forward, and that is what we have been doing over the course of the from every metric. I think if not this week, probably next week, we're going to make an announcement. The economy in the last quarter grew over 5%. Unemployment still continues to be under 2%. So there's a lot of good for us to look at, as opposed to be just looking at the negative. And yes, we are not perfect. Yes, we're going to make mistakes, but what is important is that we take corrective measures. Okay, thank you.
Minister Julius Espat will be holding over as interim Minister of Police. He spoke about the new role, and he described the Home Affairs Ministry as one of the most difficult.
It's one of the most difficult ministries to be able to administer, so it's most people don't think it's a favor. I see it as a responsibility, and so it starts today. I have been given my formal request to do what is necessary, and so I will start looking at everything. I've already had brief communication with the Commissioner and the CEO. We will meet formally tomorrow and Thursday, and then from there we start the work.
Is it a portfolio you can juggle? You already have a huge portfolio with infrastructure development and housing. Is it too much for you?
We'll find out. Infrastructure is already in place. We have capable people there. The day-to-day administration is done by the CEO and the chief engineer, and we have 300 people employed. So the Ministry of Infrastructure, we have the policy has already been set, budget has already been established for the year. So I'm not uncomfortable with that. This new one is a lot more work, and I don't know what it entails yet until I sit with everybody. I've also asked the Attorney General to give me a breakdown as to the responsibilities of everybody that plays a role in the Ministry of Home Affairs. Meaning, what's the role of the CEO, what's the role of the Commissioner, what's the role of the Minister, and from there down. I believe in being informed before I make any decision, and so you don't overstep.
Should the government's smart stream system be made public? The Financial Secretary, Joseph Wade, was pointedly asked that question today. He acknowledged the growing calls for transparency, but cautioned that any move to open the system would require careful consideration of privacy concerns.
How can we get to a place where the smart stream system becomes publicly accessible? It's taxpayers' money at the end of the day.
Yes, and there should be some, maybe a little higher level of disclosure. But remember, at the same time, you're dealing with other people's, the two parties to a transaction, then they have some privacy as well. If you make a payment, for instance, you pay me my salary, that's taxpayers' money. But I think I have a right to confidentiality for my salary. Similarly, if you have a supplier, he has some right to confidentiality. Not completely, but some. No?
So
there are two sides to the story.
Okay. But I mean, if it wasn't for this leaked information, how would we have known? Is it that FENSEC, you're sleeping at the wheel, your AOs are sleeping at the wheel, and your FOs are sleeping at the wheel, if not culpable, because nobody caught it until it was leaked?
Well, the problem is it depends on where in the process you are. Nobody has said that there is fraud, yet. I mean, we have to see what the audit report comes up with. But it it looks suspicious.
Now, in terms of, so you're saying with the smart stream that there are certain privacy elements to it that we're seeing?
Any payment, there's a counterpart to it. I mean, that is the receiver also has some rights to privacy. Salaries, for instance. Would you want your salary? If you're a public officer, would you want your salary all over the place?
But salaries are different than contracts, though.
Yeah?
Salaries are different than contracts.
No, it's a contract. It's a contract for services.
Yeah. But the argument is that once you enter into an agreement with the government, you immediately make yourself exposed in terms of the public.
You may be to a higher level of scrutiny, perhaps. You may be. Subject to, and the public has a right to know, but I don't think the public has a right to dump all the records, because there's some privacy elements involved.
A Belize-flagged cargo vessel is at the center of an international investigation after Australian authorities executed the largest cocaine seizure in the country's history. On June 19, the Queensland Joint Organised Crime Task Force discovered a staggering 2.7 metric tons of cocaine on a semi-rural property in Londonderry, a western suburb of Sydney. The massive haul was found packed in plastic tubs buried inside the underground bunkers, hidden directly beneath 3 shipping containers. Access to the underground drugs was facilitated via false floors built into the containers. Officials estimate the illicit cargo has a street value of approximately $658 million. Following the raid, 2 Sydney residents were arrested at the property after attempting to flee on foot. Both men face charges for possessing a commercial quantity of an illicit drug and face potential sentences of life in prison. According to Australian Federal Police, the shipment originally landed by boat at the sparsely populated tropics of Midge Point in northern Queensland. From there, a Sydney-based organized crime group allegedly transported the narcotics by road. The suspected mothership has been identified as the MV Wealth, a Belize-flagged cargo vessel. The ship is currently detained by law enforcement authorities in the Solomon Islands under heavy suspicion of direct involvement in transnational organized crime. Investigators are teaming up with local and international authorities to track down the entire criminal group behind the ship's journey. After the break, educational campaign on 2015 court consent order kicks off in Belmopan. Stay tuned.
El evento fútbol más grande del mundo por fin llegó y Smart te invita a vivir toda la emoción del mundial. Antes de que empiece cada partido, predice quién se lleva la victoria. Entre más predicciones hagas, más oportunidades acumulas. Suma un punto cuando le aciertes al equipo ganador y si le atinas al marcador exacto, obtienes hasta 4 puntos. La persona con más puntos al terminar el mundial se lleva $2,500 en efectivo. Y eso no es todo. También habrá premios semanales durante toda la competencia. Además, el líder de los cuartos de final se lleva un paquete completo para armar su Watch Party. Participa directamente desde la app de Smart por solo 50 centavos por participación. Las predicciones estarán disponibles del 1 de junio al 18 de julio del 2026. No solo veas el mundial, vívelo con Smart. Smart, bring people together.
As a small business, I started to attend pop-up shops like many other businesses, and we found that our customers wanted to pay by card and not cash. I went to Atlantic Bank, and immediately, without a problem, it's like, yes, you can have a POS system. That POS system we now use in-house, and we can also take it countrywide wherever we are. They were willing to take the time. They were willing to be patient with us as we grew our business. And that, for us, that meant the world.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Benny's is kicking off Father's Day with popping deals for dad in the month of June. Visit a Benny's near you and get store-wide discounts on selected items such as Milwaukee and Axie power tools, Charbroil barbecue grills, car care products, Karcher pressure washers, and much, much more. Make dad happy with popping deals for dad in June, only at Benny's.
Benny's, Benny's, oh, Benny's, Benny's. Benny's, Benny's.
It's not something that I would have gotten on my own. You know, I've been trying for a while and it wasn't happening, so, and Miss Marissa helped me a lot. Whatever problems came up, she dealt with it for me, so it's very happy right now.
This area was actually a challenge for us based on land documents because Miss Bowman had a valid title and other people were claiming title also.
I had a man squatting on the land and had problems getting him off. Miss Marissa worked with us and, you know, they worked out something with him and he came off and they started with the house. So
I know that Miss Bowman is very, very, very happy for this home because she goes from paying quite a bit of rent to paying for something that is actually going to be hers one day.
Right now I'm renting, so I don't have any kind of savings. With this, you know, the rent is okay. I will be able to handle that. And I would be able to start having a savings as well. It's hard for people to get this on their own. So for the government to be helping and doing this for us, it's awesome.
We're very, very happy and pleased for Ms. Kenizia today. Again, we thank Minister Julius, the government of Belize, Ms. Marissa, because a lot of work goes into these, you know. Big up and thanks to all the people who are participating, and let this program continue. It is absolutely good.
The historic 2015 Caribbean Court of Justice consent order legally bound the government of Belize to recognize, demarcate, and protect Maya customary land in the Toledo district. Current efforts are locked in tense negotiations over the draft May customary land policy. The next critical steps focus on resolving disputes over ancestral village boundaries and passing permanent national legislation that balances indigenous collective property rights with private land titles. An educational campaign for stakeholders kicked off in Belmopan this week. The campaign is scheduled to visit each district, notably the Maya Leaders Alliance and the Toledo Alcaldes Association were not present on Monday, and we're told they chose to boycott the process. Minister of Indigenous Affairs, Honorable Dr. Louis Zabanes, spoke on their absence.
We have had really representation from all of them except the MLATA who decided not to participate. But it's to give everybody an opportunity for them to share their perspectives on how the draft legislation, how that is affecting them, what has been their experiences thus far.
Is it frustrating that no one from the MLA-TLA showed up?
Well, we certainly would have wanted them to be here. It was a great opportunity for them to share, in fact, what they really believe in and how that whole process unfolded up to the point of the consent order in 2015. They have their own reasons, where recently they sent a letter to the CCJ for further clarifications because they don't feel that things are going how they expect them to go.
Do you feel like not engaging in this way is sort of a move of bad faith, especially because they have been one of the loudest voices?
Well, we have to approach this in a very respectful and sensitive way. We hope that the application that they made to the CCJ recently would be expeditious, and certainly that they can respond to questions directly as to why they made this decision. But certainly the government cannot be faulted for trying to bring everybody together. Very, very difficult matter, so that we can have the public gain a better understanding of the complexity of this matter and why it is that we all need to be engaged to ensure that whatever we do at the end of the day will secure the continued cohesion within our country.
Dr. Zabane added that the various stakeholders in attendance were able to share their viewpoints.
Well, each of the various stakeholders have made clear their perspectives. The government, our counsel from our ministry, represented the government's perspective. We had someone from the Big Falls village who spoke about why it is that they as a village are not interested in being a part of communal land rights. We also had a representative of 3 non-Maya communities who also explained why it is that they need their voices heard, and how it is that some of the actions taken so far may be adversely affected their well-being, their livelihoods. We also heard from the Toledo Private and Lease Owners Limited, where they're also stating that they feel that the draft legislation does not address their interests properly. Questions, for example, like where will the funds come from to compensate them if their land titles are extinguished. We also heard from an NGO from Satim, where they themselves expressed their feeling that the draft legislation was prepared without consultations with them, and that they feel that their voices need to be heard before such a draft legislation would have been put together. So those, I think, are would be a summary of what the panelists just shared.
Honorable Oscar Requena, area rep for Toledo West, said that some people feel the government is moving too slow on this matter. But he assured the residents of Toledo that the government respects the court's consent order.
I am a firm believer in one nation, one people. I think that is very, very important. The Caribbean Court of Justice made its consent order, and essentially it ruled that as Maya people, we have customary rights to our land. That is, we are not going to take that away. We recognize that. We respect the consent order of the court. We also recognize and validate the role of our indigenous people in certainly protection and preserving of our lands, our environment, their rich cultural heritage, and all the contributions that they have made to nation building. We all recognize them. But equally so, we also have other groups, other ethnic groups, that also have rights to their land. And at the end of the day, what has to happen is that through the implementation process, the government must ensure, through legislation, that we take into account the constitutional rights of all Belizeans and that we respect that process. I know sometimes that some people may feel that maybe we are moving too slow, but it is a process. This is one-of-a-kind experience, and it's not easy.
A night of torrential rainfall completely isolated several communities in the Toledo district. As of this morning, all villages south of Corazon Creek were entirely cut off from the rest of the district due to heavily flooded roadways and washed-out culverts. The rising waters also left several commuters stranded, including teachers from Corazon Creek Technical High School who were stuck in Sunday Wood, unable to travel any further due to the impassable road conditions. The Ministry of Infrastructure Development and Housing was alerted to the situation. And police are investigating a shooting incident that occurred in Corozal town early this morning around 3. According to reports, multiple gunshots rung out near 4th Avenue in the Altamira area. No injuries were reported. Witnesses at the scene reportedly saw a gray, fully tinted Toyota speeding away from the area immediately after the shots were fired, closely followed by a motorcycle. Police were called to the scene shortly after. And with that, we've come to the end of our newscast. The repeat can be viewed on this station later tonight at 9 and again tomorrow at midday. Join us again tomorrow for another edition of the news. And remember, you can always catch up with the day's top stories on our YouTube channel and Facebook page under XTV Belize. And you can watch the evening news live on our XTV BHNI app. I am Drea Espinosa. Have a safe and enjoyable evening.